minute, please? We don't have everyone in the room yet.
Sure.
We have to wait until Sonal comes, and we don't have all the yet.
I'm here, Shanuki.
Okay, great. Dr. Kalpana is here.
Hello, Shanuki.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Sonal, do you want to give it a couple of minutes more because we don't have everyone here, or do you want
Yes. And, Saminji is also here. We are just waiting for now Tushara, right?
Najibullah is also here. Yes,
Yeah.
Tushara, and I think
Sharing is there?
Shireen is in right now in the national.
Dr. Sanjeev Ahmed also we are waiting for. I think.
Yeah.
Dr. Sanjeev, I messaged you already. Shanuki has a medical emergency.
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't see that
Yeah.
message. Okay, that's fine. I think Sharing also had said they will join, but not yet.
I think they have some national.
She's right now on the dais. She can't.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then, shall we start with who we have?
Shiji, do you want to send a message to Tushara?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let me.
I mean, I don't have her WhatsApp.
Let me do that.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to elevate Suraksha also, please.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about my spelling.
Hello.
Hi. Hi again.
Maybe we should start, Shanuki.
Yeah. Okay. We can start live streaming now.
Somebody will keep track. As soon as Tushara comes, she should be elevated to.
Unless, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get started. Good morning. It's still morning here in Colombo where I'm seated, and also still morning in Delhi. But to those of you who are joining from other places around the region or the world, good evening, good afternoon, or good very early morning. Thank you for being with us. Today is our final day of the SARO Regional and Youth Forums. And today is where the forums have come together as one. Which is interesting because that gives me a good segue into the next sentence, which is this session is all about coming together as one. This session is called United We Stand Together. And right now we're going to hear actually from the different member associations that IPPF SARO works with. We have the executive directors of all our member associations here. Some of our countries could not be represented, unfortunately, because as you know, today is also the start of the global 16 days of activism against violence against women. And many of our member associations are part of this global campaign. And there's a lot of work going on around the world that we're very proud of to represent and to fight for. And with that special thing happening, this special thing is also happening because we've gone through 2 amazing days of sessions. We've had so much of conversation, so many amazing, incredible speakers, young and old, coming from both the IPPF Federation, from our member associations, from partner organizations, from civil service organizations, youth and adult, senior individual champions of sexual and reproductive health rights. So it's been, I mean, it's been an incredible collection of thoughts and learnings and insights. So today, what we're going to do with this session, we have just an hour, is to find out what did our member associations really feel and how Do they feel we can actually unite as one force? What are the key takeaways we have had from the forum sessions that everyone attended? And where do we see ourselves going? How do we see ourselves continuing to deliver service above our risk and to deliver no matter what? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to invite executive directors from each member association. I'm going to ask them to give us a few thoughts on where they see us going and what they took out of these forums. And to keep everything fair, I'm going to invite the member associations in alphabetic order. So because I don't think there's one who is more important than the other, and that's why we're doing it this way. So if I could just start with Mr. Najmullah, who is from AFGA, who's the CEO of AFGA, to share with us what he has thought about this whole coming together of the regional forum. And I know AFGA has been a big part of the forum as well. They represented and they showed us case studies of the work they have done in the last 2 years and how they have delivered in very difficult climates and environments. Mr. Najmullah, I invite you to please share some thoughts with us. I know he was here. He seems to have gotten logged out, I think. Because he's gotten logged out, what I will do is, let me backtrack a little bit, because some of you might actually be joining our session for the first time and not having been savvy to what happened over the last 2 days. So maybe it's a good time to just reflect with two of our team members. We have Dr. Srijit from the SARO office, who is our program director, and we have Sweta Sridhar, who manage the youth forum side of things. So what if I, just to give our member associations a little more time to get on the channels, what if I just do a little bit of a spiel? Dr. Srijit, why don't you just give us a brief report on what happened with the regional forum over the last 2 days?
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Shanuki. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
So there were many takeaways for me, Shanuki. I think the one which kind of stood out the most for me was the importance, the conversations on the importance and role of the youth. I think it became very clear through these 3 days that youth are the custodians of the change we seek in the world. And all the movements that we're going to see from here on are going to be a young person's game. The second takeaway was on how we could possibly do our advocacy. I mean, data and evidence-based advocacy has a higher chance of changing minds. Sometimes, adopting a rigid rights-based approach may not always work well, especially in a region like ours, which is very driven by cultural norms. The third point I remember is about the need to be creative in shifting perceptions and building a following. We have to perhaps step away from using a very technical and jargonized speak and probably start speaking the language our audience want to hear. And then we also had some stimulating sessions on governance and leadership, where we saw panelists and participants, discussing the role and importance of governance in organizations. Different perspectives were shared by staff from the Secretariat of IPPF, MA's governing bodies, MA's executive heads. And we saw panelists talk about the need to revise old governance structures and the need to orient board members on their roles, skills, and relationship building. They also felt we should be able to identify skills that are required for volunteers and trustees to contribute meaningfully and optimally. I think they also wanted to know what the resource requirements are for good governance. They were also very keen to see what comes out of the governance reform. And then the 2 sessions that I was part of was on volunteer and volunteerism. And I think here we saw participants and panelists talk about the key contributions made by volunteers over the years. We also discussed issues like, what could be the possible incentive structures for volunteers, especially the unpaid volunteers, and how do we actually get the right candidate to be a good volunteer for an organization. And I think we also spoke about the standards that we can use to measure the work that they do. Yeah, so these were probably some of the takeaways that I can recount.
Thank you, Dr. Sridhar. Then what about you, Shweta? I know you were shuttling between a lot of sessions on your side of the forums. What were your key takeouts of what happened?
Thanks, Shanaki. I think I'm very excited to hear Dr. Srijit say that youth emerged as one of the key themes in the regional forum, because if there's one thing that the youth have all agreed on is that youth are not the future, youth are the now, and we're here, and we're one of the largest populations that are on the globe today, and it's time that we get treated as experts on our own lives and get listened to when it comes to making decisions about our bodies and our rights. I think that's one. The second thing that struck me as very important from the conversations that we've been having over the last couple of days is that political rhetoric and conversations around these issues are very interesting, and it's all very well, but really what matters is the commitments and the financial resources and the infrastructure that you can put in place to put really put your money where your mouth is and take some of the actions that are required to translate some of these conversations into action. And finally, I think one of the interesting things that came out of the conversations of the last couple of days, think about a lot of conversations around family planning specifically have been around a risk aversion approach, which look at how we need to move or take steps in order to reduce the risk that young people face. Whereas there were conversations around, can we imagine an alternative world where family planning is discussed as a process institution, and what would that look like? What would a pleasure first family planning association look like? And I think these are some of just the key takeaways for me from these 2 days of conversation. And I found them very stimulating, and definitely some things for us to think about over the next couple of years as we lay out some of our plans for action.
Thanks very much, Shweta. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the member associations because Mr. Najibullah Samim is back with us. Sir, can you tell me, what is your overview of the forums and, the sessions that AFCA was represented in, what you talked about, the audience interactions you may have had afterwards, what you felt about other sessions that you joined in on? Where do you see us going together as a region?
Thank you very much, Sonakshi. Generally, I will speak about my feedback of the overall structure and in organization of the forum, and then I have few recommendations as well from my feedback and findings of the conference or of the forum. So first of all, on the feedback side, I think since it was the first time that Zaru has been organizing this forum, and specifically when technology is used, I think it was excellent. It was very well organized, despite the challenges of the technology in having like the first conference like that. It was very excellent. The quality of the speakers from different regions, I think I attended 4 or 5 sessions, and I found the quality of the speakers and also the quality of the presentations. It was really very good. And I'm very excited for the audience, particularly from our side, when our staff attended those sessions, and I had some discussion with them that how did you learn, what did you learn, and how did you find. So the feedback that I'm sharing is not only of me, but also from my staff here at AFCA. So it was very excellent. And on the first day, some technology issues, at least in our hand, some of our staff could not join and it was hang, and I understand that this is the technology, and it was like the first time. These were some of the general feedbacks. And on the takeaways, for us in AFCA, considering that we are relatively a small MA, for us and for our staff, I think everybody was excited about that, and particularly when they were interacting and when they were hearing the innovations that the other MAs has been implementing. So they were excited about, and they've already taking some notes on the innovations in use of technology in other MAs. And then as Dr. Srijit said in one of the sessions, the use of volunteers is something that we need to think about in how the other MAs have used the volunteers in order to promote the MAs and also to engage them in the activities and to be part and to be together with the MAs. And also using of the board members and their role, there were some discussions, and I think it's also a good takeaway for us on how to further mobilize our governing board and how to engage them in the overall guidance and leadership of the MA. That is something we have already working on that, and we are reviewing our governance board and the consultancies going on. And then use of technologies by other MAs, like in Bangladesh, I was attending that session, and they were using some good use of technology and videos and all. So these were some of the immediate takeaways, but of course we have more than that. And at the end, we will have a gathering within our team to actually collect and together the takeaways from everybody, and then we will see what of those takeaways we can implement in the short term or in the medium term and long term. So we will definitely have a kind of action plan on how to proceed with the learnings from this forum. And a few recommendations from my side, from my previous experience and also of this forum. First of all, I think the timing of the forum, it was almost end of November, and we know that MAs are at the end of the year, and they are planning for next year and closing and all those things, so they're quite busy. And my recommendation will be that if we can at least do it at the end of October or maybe early November, so that the MAs will have enough time for their other activities. So that is one. And on the preparation time, I think this time, since it was the first time, it was announced a bit later in the MAs, particularly in our case, we didn't have enough time to prepare ourselves, the presentations, the speakers, the videos that we wanted to exhibit on the exhibition stall. That takes some time in also the preparation of the speakers and all. So I would recommend it if we announce it or start working on the next conference, at least in 2.5 months or 3 months. So that will give enough time for the MAs to prepare themselves for the presentations, for the videos, and also on all these things. And also next time, let's see if the coronavirus or this COVID-19 pandemic is over. I think it would be good if we have this forum next time offline. And in that case, there are many benefits of that. One is that the staff who are attending the conference or this forum, they will be away from the office and only focusing on the conference and on the teams, on the presentations and all. And the second thing is that they will have enough time of interaction with other MAs during the tea break, during off times. So they will have more time to interact and learn and sharing the experiences from each other. And they will also make a good network between themselves. So after the forum, they will interact with each other informally, or they will become colleagues and they can always ask each other for the good things. Okay, and also I would recommend that some of our staff they could not join, and I would recommend, even if next time we have it online, so at least a kind of guide video to be prepared in advance for the general public or low-level staff when they want to get online and log in, there should be a kind of guide video that how you can log in and how to go to the exhibitions in a stall, and how to, for example, if you have any questions, like, this kind of thing would help the audience to ask questions and to be more interactive in this conference. So this was something I found it could be beneficial for the next time. And also I would further recommend, maybe it's my last recommendation. I found some of the presentations was a bit lengthier than the time it was allocated to them. For some it was 10 minutes, for some it was 20 minutes. And I think the general perception was that the presentation will have, each presenter will have 20 minutes. While in some, we saw that it was 10 minutes. So for them, it was difficult to adjust, the presentation to 10 minutes. What I would recommend that the next time, if there is a kind of committee, probably within the MA or within SARO team, the organizers, to look and review those presentations to see in terms of quality and also in terms of timing and in terms of relevancy to the topic. That is something I found a bit difficult, but generally it was very good. But if that is considered for the next time, I think it will be wonderful. So these were all from my side. Thank you very much, Shanuki. Back to you.
Thank you so much for such a comprehensive review. And we certainly really value all the feedback. I think a lot of it we at the SARO team already had figured out ourselves, as in we had also thought of ways in which to improve going forward. But just a note from us, we deeply, deeply apologize for the technical issues that we had on day one. Yes, it was trial by fire, and there were a lot of things that we were figuring out as well. And I hope you noticed that we had it all sorted out by day two, and it is a lot slicker. But yeah, I think I'd like to think that we delivered no matter what. And unfortunately, we did lose a lot of audiences on day one, which is why we have the recordings of all our sessions. And we're now talking about, hosting it on an online space so that people can still access all the sessions and the learnings that they missed out on. So we're going to be looking into doing that very soon. And we will be sharing that with all the MAs as soon as that's available, as soon as possible. So, but thank you very much for the very, very valuable feedback once more. I'm going to move on now to the next letter on the alphabet. Who is present here is India. And from the Family Planning Association of India, Dr. Kalpana Apte, would you like to give us a little bit of a review of what you thought about the forums?
Thank you for inviting me to this panel today. I have been following it up. And I must say a few things which come to my mind, because being part of the regional meetings in past, and this is a new way of meeting, I must say a few things that I kind of learned myself. One was that the value of meeting with regional colleagues, the other executive directors and program directors, and listening to young people has always been finding inspiration and learnings. And I'm so glad to say that under your leadership, even it was possible this time to learn many things and to see what is happening around the region. I must say that when we look across globally, the work that IPPF does and the member associations in our countries do, I'm always struck by this fact that we do exemplary work in very difficult settings. And because we hadn't met for so many years, COVID happened just previously, and before that there was a lot of governance reforms. So the regional forum, not forum really, but the regional meetings which used to happen once in a year have now metamorphosed in this way. And I must say that there is a lot here which wasn't in-person meeting we could gain. This was much richer by way of content, by way of different types of issues which were brought to the table, and sheer number of many more people who were speaking. So there was so much value for me personally. And another flip side, of course, for any online meeting is that you tend to get away, you tend to kind of get stretched into doing your own work because you're sitting on your own table, probably. So it's not 100% that you could give your time. And I think then the solution is that, yes, there are recordings. So I look forward to look at some of the sessions in a little bit downtime that we will have. But a couple of things as a learning I must say is that, yes, again, Saru has proved that it has a lot to share with us and teach us in a way that how do we do business in the coming years when we cannot meet in person, we find solutions to still be together and share. Yes, there I also experienced a little bit of technical glitches on day one. But then the way I look at it is this: when we say we are all together, then we are together in good times and also in challenging times. These are challenges, and I must appreciate, in fact, I appreciate that you have not outsourced the whole thing to some professional person. You've done it yourself. The whole staff came together and did it. So I think that if we would have done, any of us would have done something like that, we are liable to, because none of us are really communications and online experts. So that is the value for me, that yes, you have all come together and you have done it. So congratulations, Team Saru. You did an exemplary job. You were like on top of it and answering our queries, and it was superb, really. I'm inspired and I'm thankful. This has been an immense experience for my teams, youth teams and headquarter teams to be a part of this. We have had many places to share and many more places to learn. So thank you so much, Sonal and Shanuki and Shweta and Dr. Srijit and everybody for putting it all together for us. We look forward to many more such learnings, maybe thematic leads, maybe issue-based coming together. But I would urge you to continue doing this. Maybe smaller times, may not be 3 days, but maybe 2 half days or 1 full day. It would be great to be part of such learnings, listen from it and be together. So we must continue to be together. You have brought us together. Let us continue to be together and let's keep learning from each other, keep inspiring each other. Thank you so much. Let's take this forward in times to come. Thank you for having me here.
And thank you for being here, Dr. Kalpana. For sure, it's all about coming together. And this was a fantastic experience, I think, for me as well, personally, because I'm new to Saru, and just to be able to meet everybody in one swell swoop, you know, in just like 3 days. Now I seem to know more about the organization and the work of the MS than I did when I joined 1.5 months ago. So thank you for your thoughts. And if I can just move over to the Family Planning Association of Nepal, and we have Dr. Naresh Pratap here with us. What are your thoughts, Dr. Naresh? Did you feel like Nepal can take out some learnings from what they saw in the forums in the last 2 days? Or, you know, were you happy with what you saw happening?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. The first thing I would like to say is start with, if this meeting had been a physical one, we would be, like Nazmullah said, and Dr. Kalpana also said, we could have shared our ideas and we could have even shared our grievances with each other and shared our learnings, you know. But this was an excellent platform. I think we really enjoyed it. And the problem with speaking in the middle somewhere is everything good has already been said. Everything I have wanted to has already been said by the previous speaker. So I do not have anything much to say. But I must really appreciate the two sisters, the twin sisters. I think you guys are in the wrong profession. I think you should change your profession and go for this glamour business of advertising and something else, you know. I think that will be a better thing for you. You'll be earning more, I guess. But we are very lucky to, but we are very happy to have you. And the best thing about this conference or whatever learning is that our president was there and he had our commitment, you know. He committed to go for the IPPF reform. I think that's a great commitment from a governance leader, you know. So I think this should be acknowledged, and Madam Sonal has already said that still support with all the logistics and everything needed. So we are very hopeful, and we'll try to bring the changes. But this forum has been very exciting, and I think from Nepal, our participants were very active. Our youth were very active, performing and presenting, and even listening to others. And I'm very happy to be part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Naresh. The Forum Sisters are very grateful for your kind compliments, certainly. And in my excitement, I also got my alphabet wrong, because I said I was going to invite people alphabetically, and then I forgot that M comes before N. So I'm going to move over to the Maldives. We have Yashalina, who is here from the Maldives, and from She Maldives. Please, I apologize for not having called on you before, and I give the forum to you now.
It's okay, Shanuki. I also forgot the alphabet. It's okay, no problem. Yeah, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk in this forum. So, and before going into what my learning is, I would like to thank and congratulate Sonal and the team SARO for the phenomenal event, which has been well thought through and executed. I think this is an enjoyable and insightful 3 days which you have here. I was wondering whether we could have had, as Najibullah and Dr. Naresh has mentioned, we could have had this physically. This could have been much greater 3 days, I think. And from the different sessions which I have joined, what I would say is that I have gained knowledge, and also I have a chance to know commendable work what others are doing in their MS. And my take back is there are in different sections. The one with the volunteerism and how to engage volunteers in the MS, that was a very good session which was an eye-opener for me, how to recruit new members and how to develop them, how volunteerism is as for development, how inclusion is there, how socially accountable and resilient volunteers could be developed. So I think about some of our board members also joined different sessions, and we are in now conversation with them. This is a good time for us. Also, we are planning the board members retreat. So I think we are hoping to take some discussions to the meetings we are going to have in December. And for me, the other thing is the session on strategic planning also. That was also a good one, where we could, the thought of that we have to think about the client who will be getting services from us in 2030, thinking about that client. That viewpoint was very good for me to think about when because we are in the we are working on the strategic plan also. So it's also a very good session for me. And as Najibullah has mentioned also, I also would like to say that time is very difficult because everyone is trying to achieve what we have in our program also. So, and given the COVID situation now in Maldives also, even few months back, we are also allowed to travel also. So this is not an easy time, but also we plan to give timing for this session because we knew that this is something which is going to be very good for us. But and also from the sessions, we also need a bit of time for the youth to get prepared, or from our MS to get prepared for the session, so that we can deliver something which is very good. So I know there will be difficulties during in organizing such an event, but I think you guys did it. And no matter what, you have proved that no matter what, you will deliver. I think this is a good forum to prove that you delivered it no matter what. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. And we're so glad you were able to participate in the forums, and definitely this opportunity to bring all these countries together in one place and to have these discussions and interactions. That's kind of what we wanted to do. So we're glad that that kind of unique connection has been built. And now I'm going to go into our final MA, which is Sri Lanka. And I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be biased. I am in a regional role now, but I am biased, and we're so happy to have Tushara here, the ED of the Family Planning Association of Sri Lanka. Tushara, I know Sri Lanka has participated in quite a number of sessions, and I was so proud to see the immense amount of work being done in Sri Lanka on SRHR. But then I found also that from a Sri Lankan perspective, there's so much of learning that we can get from outside the island. And that's what I was also exposed to at this forum. What are your thoughts, Tushara? What do you think of what happened over the last few days?
Thank you, Shanuki, for those lovely sentiments. I still see my name pasted on someone else's face. Maybe you could get my face on camera or not. So first and foremost, am I audible, Shanuki?
You are audible, but I think your video is frozen, so you can actually.
All right, that's fine, that's fine. So congratulations and kudos to the SARO team. I think 3 days of holding attention on an online platform itself is a daunting task. And with the lovely faces flashed on the screen, I can see how you held the attention of the audience. I must confess that I wasn't there for many of the sessions. As you said, Sri Lanka did a fair amount of presenting, and we decided early on to divide and participate. So I was in the strategy session, and these are the takeaways from the strategy session. We are having the organizations that were built many, many decades ago, and the organizations stayed agile, tuning into the times. And if not for that agility, we would have been redundant long ago. The need to stay attuned to the changing environment was highlighted during the last 2 years, during the pandemic, why we needed to get on to online platforms. So I personally think this webinar over 3 years was a great way to connect, and SARO proved in hosting a very big regional forum that it still has the might and the will to do that. I'm sure next time we do it, we will be meeting everyone in person, but well done, SARO. And the strategy session, my takeaway is that we started thinking of the next generation, the youth and their needs, and how to adapt our organizations, because we are in the process of resisting change. Deep down, we talk about it, but very few of us are really willing to change the way we do things. We like to still give services on a physical mode, stay connected one-to-one, still meet for meetings. So this kind of resistances need to be broken. And I think we all have done a wonderful job. Were we all frozen, as I saw on the screen? Let's unfreeze all of us and meet future challenges. A big thank you to Sonal. Well done, Srijit and Shanuki. We are very, very proud of you. I don't think I can come on screen, but thank you and well done to all the participants and everyone who presented. We are united and we will be united. The SARO team, well done.
Thank you so much, Tushara. And we now have actually a youth champion with us, Suraksha Giri. And at the beginning of the regional and youth forums, we started off with some words from Suraksha, who talked about the importance of inclusivity, importance of getting the youth engaged in the work that we do. And she is a youth champion from Nepal. And that's why we wanted Suraksha to be a part of this session as well. because I think the youth has been a massive voice in these last 2 days. And even in the regional forum, we did have even yesterday a session on how we engage with the youth. And we have seen some incredibly creative work and, innovative thinking by the youth. Just keep pushing these movements forward and bringing our causes to the fore in a way that maybe the institutions haven't quite figured out how to do yet. The youth is doing with their might and their voice. So Suraksha, why don't you give us a few of your reflections on what you felt about the forum?
Thank you so much, Shanuki, for this time. And first of all, a huge congratulations to all the youth, young people, my peers who were engaged fully with the youth forums. And once again, on behalf of IPPF board, from the SARO team, from the FPAN, and mostly representing all the youth, I would like to thank and congratulate all the teams who have been working so hard to make this happen and leaving no one behind. Those who worked back of the stage and on the stage technically and every way supporting. So thank you so much for making this happen, and it finally happened. So and I'm so sorry that I could not also join every sessions, but I was there in some sessions and it was very good. I was able to participate in the programs. And for me, the takeaway would be leaving no one behind, because we know that young people's SRHR needs are often ignored, and through the forums, we are reaffirmed our commitments. And though we are from the different nations, our mission, vision, goals, aims are same. That is leaving no one behind and having a progressive universalism. So we know that Asian countries, there are many of the countries who are really lacking behind in the service, and due to the vulnerable and marginalized communities, they are lacking in service and many things due to poverty and many more. So we know that at the heart of IPPF service delivery model, it serves especially with the poor and vulnerable groups. So equal access to services is very much important for IPPF, and universalism. So no countries, no women's, no males, and no sexual minorities, no youths, no ethnic groups, or no one. We wish to have no one left behind, and we wish to see the target meet for all the nations and people, for all the segment of the society. And we have the right to information, right to sexual and reproductive health rights, and everything is our right. So why leaving them behind? So many factors leave us behind, but IPPF, and at the heart of SARO, we know that we have the right to everything, access to everything. So for me, the takeaway would be leaving no one behind, and we would want to work in a unity for this. So thank you so much, Shanuki, once again. And leaving no one behind, I want to thank everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Suraksha, for those valuable thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to now hand it over to someone who is becoming my favorite octopus, and that's Sonal, who is our regional director. You know, Sonal has been the driving force behind this forum, and I don't think a lot of things would have gotten done if not for Sonal's leadership and Sonal's guidance and Sonal's insistence that things have to be delivered no matter what. And over the last, I think, 2 weeks, we have watched her just, getting the quality out of us, getting the work done, and making sure that everybody delivered. And Sonal, are you happy with how everything has gone?
I'm very happy. Irrespective of how it is gone, I'm very happy with the process. I think Kalpana touched on it, Pushara touched, everybody touched on it, including Shamimji and Dr. Naresh. This happened collectively as a team. And when I say team, mind you, I have a list of people who are in the planning committee. So it's not just the team you see here or who are kind of employed at SARO, but it's a team of South Asia. And it was interesting that in planning meetings, sometimes I would hear Shanuki say or Shweta say, no, 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 but my Nepal has said this. No, 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 but my Sri Lanka has said this. And it was very amazing that the representatives who came and offer, Shamimji, be careful. Mr. Fazal was very, very pushy throughout the meeting. No, this is not how it will happen. This is how it will happen. And it was amazing because one of the area we were thinking about was the young people, youth forum separate or overlap. So just 1 day youth forum and 2 day regional forum. And youth team members stood up and said, no, 2 days for us. And then half the day we are ready to come together, which was amazing. But couple of things I wanted to flag is, so every 18 months, every 2 years, we have, this is the first ever regional and youth forum, regionally planned. First ever also virtual, but even first ever, because before this we used to have RECs, Regional Executive Committee meetings, regional meets, which was more either thematic or governance related. This is more like a just learning forum. And so absolutely, I think there is a huge room of improvement, change, betterment. But I'm with everybody who said offline would be great to really happen. And just speaking up from the timing, Samimji, you are right. November, actually this December is the completion of 2 years. And it is like with the governance reform and restructure and this and that and COVID. And if we don't do it in November, money is gone. Nothing has happened. And then we had to do it kind of thing. But from January, we have 2 years where we can organize this. So from now we can decide that maybe we can have either next year later or year after. So maybe early 23. We can pre-decide that or in February 23, we will have regional forum. And I'm happy for any MA to volunteer to host it, because we'll be happy to visit wherever we need to visit. And it would be a good learning. You're right. Couple of things that I want, I mean, not couple, few things that I wanted to flag as my key kind of learning. One was that definitely in South Asia, we have strong member associations. And I think irrespective of the size of the country, the organizations are pretty strong. So many volunteers, so many team members. Oh my God. The second point I realized that governance is an issue across. And it's not an issue in the sense a negative issue always, but an issue that needs more communication. And particularly a big learning for me, that session that Lena mentioned, is we mix up between volunteers and board of trustee. Not all volunteers are board, but how to keep them engaged, how to keep them meaningfully involved is one area that we need to do, and how to make sure that people on the board are the people who should be there. And so board training is something that I'm going to pick up very quickly for all of you. NEC training, I thought board is just 10 people, but it would be good to have the National Executive Committee members training if possible, because I thought that was very useful. The session with BINS, where we only had NEC members from South Asia, was really very useful. BINS is the board member of Global IPPF board. And I was really, it was so much educational for me when the volunteers shared their issues and their challenges. And I was like taken aback. So I think that is one area where I promise we will definitely start working, and it will have to be with the executive directors more than anybody else in the team while programs and activities go on. The third very important point, and this was something that I was really, again, globally, people are interested in South Asia. And I was like, why? And I realized we have a great data systems. We have great, very complex and very good laws in different countries. Within one region, we have too many kind of mix and match. It's a world within a world. And so globally, people are quite interested. That gives me an opportunity I always am thinking of more money, more interest, more learning. And so that is something that I think we need to really package ourselves better and sell it. Other thing is, and I wanted to say here, because I think it is, we are in the kind of safe environment of most of us together. I think we need more engagement of a top levels of MAs in the regional activities. And that, I think, Samimji, you're right. If we do regionally offline, then it might be better, because otherwise Nareshji will be pulled to something, Dr. Kalpana will be pulled to something, you would be pulled to something, and Dina will be put to something. If I have all of you in one place, in a room, you cannot run away. So that is something that I definitely. And then last thing I want to say is youth, absolutely, very, very critical. In-center knows their voices, but Shweta, as engagement of youth is not easy. It's a challenge. Mobilizing youth is not easy. And my heart goes out to all my EDs on this call. I think it is not an easy thing. And therefore we need maybe more creativity, more innovation, more engagement. And Shweta, it is going to be on your shoulder to how we can do this much better with your team members, of course, from the member association, who are amazing. So these were the key takeaway messages from me. Shanuki and Shweta, no question about it, thoroughly enjoyed. Not just pushing around and saying, but even participating, engaging and learning. This was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I cannot thank more the member association team members. Thanks a lot.
And thank you to all of you who are watching, all of you who have been engaged, who have participated, who have sent in questions. You still can actually send us your questions, send us your thoughts, your feedback, your ideas for how we can move forward. How can we engage with the youth more? What do you want from sexual and reproductive health services going forward? Who are you and how can we best represent you? So these are all things that you can write to us about, and we're here to listen and to deliver. We're going to close this session now and just prepare for the final kind of penultimate closing ceremony. We hope you will join us on that. It's going to be live broadcast on our web portal, as well as you can click and get into the link if you want to be a part of it. We have a special performance that is lined up for that. And then we have our SARO leadership who will simply close the ceremony, as well as talk about their vision, their key priorities going forward. But for now, thank you for being a part of everything, the goods, the bads, the ups, the downs. We're going to take a big break, I know, Shweta and I, as well as the SARO team that has been breaking backs to make this happen and to come together. And I mean, it's amazing, the sense of family, sense of camaraderie, and the sense of support that was created over the last 3 days, not just within SARO, but also with our entire region. So for me, a personal takeout is that real sense of belonging that came out of this. Thank you to everyone for being a part of it. We will see you very, very soon, 5 minutes from now. Thanks for now. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, 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 everybody.